Hi, yeah, this is the front left pocket installation video, and I can put my hand in the pocket. So it works, so that's the whole point of this video, and I think it's almost an hour, or just under an hour, because I work slowly and steadily, but that's what this video is going to be about. So if you're into it, enjoy, and we'll get through it. And I'll show you how I got this pocket on, and we'll move forward from there. Thanks for stopping by. Hello there. This is what I'm working on today. I'm going to make the front left pocket. I've already made the front right pocket. And as we know, the pocket lining, it needs to be 12 inches by 15 inches. It will be the correct size for fitting on here. Hello everyone. So here I am starting to square up and level out the muslin for cutting out a pocket lining. Simple enough. First I'm going to get some chalk and to make a line. And then I'm going to make another line down here. So that will get me started squaring up. I am using a combination of the rotary cutter and the scissors, obviously, the shears. And this is just straightening it out, leveling it out, I will be making more precise cuts once I line up the cloth to the size or pattern I need. I'm still getting used to the rotary cutter. It still sometimes misses. So I depend on the shears a lot, even when using the rotary cutter. There, so obviously that still has to be made accurate. Quite often it turns out that I'm using the rotary cutter to really mark it for the scissors or the shears. That's just the way it works out. Not necessarily that it was planned or meant that way. Fair enough. Let me see what I have now as far as straight and not straight. And what I'm trying to do is get a pretty straight, pretty accurate straight line across the top here and across this right side. So I still have a little bit to do on this right side as far as getting a straight edge. And all I need is 15 by 12 inches, so I don't need to have an awful amount of cloth. But I'm going to need squared up cloth for later too, so while I'm here at the work table, good to get it done. So now I'm going to measure the 12 by 15. Excuse me. And I'm going to go 15 across there and 12 down there. There's my 15. Now I'll make another one. And one more. do a 12. There. Then we'll try the rotary cutter. Nice. That I can work with. And there's my 15 by 12 pocket lining cutout. Of course, I'm going to iron the pocket lining, give it a quick press. So there I have the 15, and there I have the 12. There's the fold. So I'll press that to define it. This is how I figured out to cut the pocket bag the pocket lining for the left front pocket. This is the inside of the left front pant leg. And what I did was I took the pocket, the 15 by 12 pocket lining that I had cut and pressed, and I folded it, and then I just kind of laid it on, superimposed it on the pocket bag here, and I just eyeballed it and fabric penned it by checking and doing it that way. So now I'm going to cut this, and that will get rid of that excess piece there. They're just kind of like that. So I am going to end up serging this and that, and then I don't know if I have to stitch it yet right away or not, but if I do, I'll do that as well. So now I have to figure out the pocket hole, the pocket opening for up here. And the way I do that is I lay my pocket bag, my pocket lining, on top of the pocket. I superimpose it that way. And what I'm going to do is, by feeling and looking, I'm going to trace the outline of the pocket entrance, and then I'm going to add like a half inch seam allowance so that I can fold it and top stitch it and all that. So I'll just do that, and I check both sides by sight and feel. There, I can feel the rivet there, and I can feel the fold there. And then I do look and check, and as you can see, I'm just making short marks right now. And there you can almost see it right there if you were here in person. So now I'm confident that I can put the whole line down like that. And now I'm going to add a half inch seam allowance on top of that. So now I have the seam allowance measuring device right here, and I've got it set at half an inch. So I'm just going to put this point on the inside of the fiber marker, and then just go on the inside, kind of really close of that point there. So it may end up being just slightly under a half inch. Just like that, all the way down, all the way across. Then I'll get my ruler. Just like that. And now I can cut that piece off. Take that right out of there. There. Now what I'm going to do is just snip a little in here on the curve especially, so that it would be easier for me to fold it when I go to sew the seam allowance. Now I have to activate the iron again, because it shuts off automatically when I lay it flat after a minute, which I like actually. If I leave it standing up, then it stays on for about 8 minutes. So if I'm actively using it, then I leave it standing up. If I aren't going to use it for a while, then I lay it flat. You can see it flashing there. Once it's all warmed up, it'll stop flashing. And it sometimes makes a little click or a noise. There we go. Well, it's still flashing, but it made the noise, so it's getting really close to being ready. There, it's gone all green now. So I'm just going to start folding it over and pressing it. If I need to, I can also pin it for when I take it to the sewing machine. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. There. So now I can sew that. Okay, now I'm going to pivot it. And make the second row on the inside. So there we are. I do have it stitched. And it is pretty close together. But I'm happy with that. I can live with that. What I am going to do is I'm going to serge this bottom part and up the side. So how did I do with the serging? Let me see. Well, that came out pretty good. That looks real nice, real tidy. So I am going to do some right along here as well. Just like that. Hey. I dropped it. So that's how that ended up. I did that, and I did that. I've done that, and I'm happy with that. I think as I get more practice, that will improve, but we're good to go for now. Now, believe it or not, I did not do that correctly. What I should have done was when I did this, I should have done it here. But that's okay, because I'm going to do it now correctly. But in essence, I have doubled my work. I have done more than what I needed to do. But that's the price of getting the experience and the practice, making these small errors. So I'm going to draw another green line with the fabric marker. And I can feel it even. And I actually see right through the muslin too. There, just like that. And then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance to it with my seam allowance measuring device. Just freehand that in. Whoopsie daisy. Like that. And I'll do the same thing that I did with the piece underneath. Just like that. So I made myself some extra work, but no harm done. Cool, man. Now I'm going to cut this section out. Like that. So that kind of lines up like that. And then I'll put some snips in it also for ease of bending. There, that should be enough. Let me see what I got there now. I just want to trim that a little bit off there. Cool, man. Now we'll get the iron. Ouch. There. Now I can iron the whole thing. And then I'm going to edge stitch, top stitch it. Sí, muy bien. Okay, now I'll get my seat here so I can sit down. Check and make sure my threads are there. There they are. I'll put the foot down. And I'll start in backpack. Excellent. Now I have to sew the pocket lining onto that. There, I've got that pinned up, and I'm hoping that I can stitch right both of these seam allowances together. And I'm going to go from up here, ouch, down to here. Darn pins. Don't swear, Jeb. Don't swear. Keep calm. Okay. Okay, now pivot. Like thus. Get rid of that pin. Put the foot down. Now I got to think here what I'm doing, because I'm going to sew the pocket shut if I'm not careful. And I don't want to do that. So that's what I've got there. I folded it together, and I won't be sewing the pocket shut. But it's going to be a slow, arduous process. I can trim that off right now. And that too. I'm going to have to start and back tack again. And I am not sewing the pocket shut. Why did that come apart? Some days I am a real piece of work, I want to tell you. I'm going to back tack. Okay, so I done good. I missed a spot there. So let me fix that. Okay, so there's the pocket, and I did it correctly. I didn't sew the pocket shut. So here I am. I got the left front pocket installed. I got it on. And that's how it looks here. The only loose point I have is this side seam on the outside seam. So that will be looked after when I connect it to the back left pant leg. Everything else is pretty much tacked down. This up here, this is all good. I can put my hand in there. If you look at it from the back, that's what it looks like. And I can even turn it inside out. And that's what it looks like there when it's turned inside out. Kind of awkward to look at. But everything is pretty much correct. There's plenty of room for improvement as I gain more experience and time, repetitions. The idea is to make 5 pairs of pants altogether out of muslin. And this may be, that is my actual first left front pocket. So I've still got 4 more of these to do. The other thing I have to do is I have to stitch all the way down these edges. Whether I do that with edge stitching or the serger is one or the other, neither here nor there. But that has to be done. So I may have that done by the time we get back together again. And next time, once this is all ready and this is all ready, then I want to put the 2 front legs together, and at that point we'll have both front pockets, the zipper done, the crotch seam done, and then we'll start working with the back of the legs, getting them connected to these 2 pieces, get the yokes on. I still have to cut the yokes. The last video I was showing you how I was stitch ripping the stitches out of the denim yokes, which I'm going to use as a template for making yokes out of muslin. So that's where I'm kind of going next time. Get that done, have all this edge stitched or serged, and get the yokes on, get the yokes cut and put on the back legs, and then at that point, when it comes time to put the front legs and the back legs together, I start at the bottom on the inseam, come up the leg to the crotch, and then down the other leg to the hem, and then once the inside seams are done, then I do the outside seams. So at that point, all I have left to do is the waistband and the belt loops on the waistband, because the yoke will be on the back legs already. Everything will be connected here. So it'll be the waistband, the belt loops, and then the bottom hems at the bottom of the legs. So I've still got probably, a week or two of non-filming time and filming time, because I kind of have to rehearse it all before I actually video it or film it. But I really enjoyed getting this done. I did have my small error here, which I was able to repair. And I think that's part of learning to be a proficient sewist, is that little accidents or unexpected things will happen that you have to kind of be able to fix, in midstream kind of thing. Hope you enjoyed this. I did. Thanks for hanging out with me. And hey, listen, I want you to keep safe and have fun, alrighty? And we'll talk soon. Thank you, my friends. I really enjoy y'all. Thanks for coming.